What's going on, YouTube? I've got a review here for you today. This is going to be my first actual review on a rod I've fished quite a bit, and I'm really excited about. So I've been thinking about doing a lot of videos on some of the P5 models that I guess I would say get overlooked but are like incredible. There's some P5 models I just don't like. There's some that are great but everyone talks about them. You know, your X-Bites, your Super Destroyers, all those sorts of rods. But I want to go over some models I absolutely love, sometimes love more than the ones that are talked about all the time, and just go through them and since they're just not talked about that much, they're incredible rods to get your hands on. And there's the couple of them that I wanted to bring up in this series have extreme amounts of versatility that I just want to go over. So the way I pick rods usually is technique specific. I will get a rod and nail down what technique I'm going to use it for, and then once I nail down that hey, this is the right rod for the technique, I'll get 1, 2, 3, 4, however many I need for how often I use that technique. And then also I like to have lots of versatile rods that can back it up. So excuse me, sorry about that. For instance, if I'm on a jerkbait pattern, I might have 3, 4, 5, 6 colors tied on. I don't necessarily want to have 3, 4, 5, 6 110 sticks because that's a little boring. I'm certainly gonna have 2 or 3, but beyond that, I want to look into what other rods can throw that and throw other things. So if I need to go and grab another rod that can to do some technique, I have some versatility in them. So a lot of people don't like the dual action of the P5 blanks, but it just fits really well with what I like to do because there's so much versatility in that. I can throw things not only can it throw it, it throws random things remarkably well, this blank. So the model I'm going to cover today is simply one of my favorites in the lineup. That's why I chose to review it first over everything. It's the P5 Cyclone. So I'm not going to go too much into depth on what the P5 is about, how the aesthetic and all that. They all look pretty much the same besides the carbon fiber and the cork differences. This is a cork model. The Super Destroyer and the Matable are the only carbon fiber models, but I will go into some of the action, some things I like about the rod. I was going to talk about things I don't like, but I don't really have, like, there's probably not much to mention here. But anyway, I'll dive in a little bit. So this is P5 Cyclone. It's obviously named after their Cyclone crank. It is a 4-power, so that's what they call their medium taper. It is lure rated for 1/4 ounce to 7/8 ounce, and it is 6 foot 6 inches, so it's a relatively short rod, and it is really versatile. So I'm just gonna kind of describe a little bit of the action here, because this is a regular, what Megabass calls a regular taper. I find this one a little bit different than most regular tapers. Like you can see as I'm bending here, it's really soft on the top here. It's regular up here, still regular, super quick change into more backbone. Like you've got pretty good backbone here. You still got some flex, pretty good way through the blank, but if you look at it, that tip is way soft, and then it gets pretty quick on the backbone. So it's a pretty interesting action in the sense that you can do a lot of stuff with this. So what I use this for, this is my primary popper stick. So I have one that is dedicated, tied on a Pop Max or even a Rio Rico, will be tied onto this thing, or the regular Rico. I think this thing can handle all of them pretty well, even though the Rio Rico is a little bit heavier. It handles it through this. It's got enough backbone to handle it, and I find that this thing is really great with short precision casts because of the length, and I can really target places with a popper. What else is this rod good at? It's good at so much. Small cranks, your Cyclone, your Z crank. I wouldn't like, probably anything less than that is probably too finessey for this, because it definitely does have some power compared to, I'd say that what this probably gets compared to a lot in the lineup is the Z crank. I find that this has a lot more power than the Z crank. Like, you can definitely feel the difference, obviously, with the length and the power here, and because of that, you can do a lot of different heavier techniques. So things I've tried on this with good success. Flukes. This is a fantastic fluke rod. This used to be my primary fluke rod. I've transitioned to another one for the technique, but this thing is great at it. And then it can even do things like 1/4 ounce jig head swim baits. It's great at. It's great at basically like smaller treble type of thing. And then the most interesting thing that I think a lot of people are gonna find this great for is throwing the Vision 110. It is a fantastic jerkbait rod. It's got the shortness, it's got the regular taper here, what you need, and it's got backbone if you're really ripping, if you get caught up in some grass or ripping out a big fish or anything like that. This is a fantastic jerkbait rod. I'm telling you right now, it's probably one of my favorite jerkbait rods in the entire lineup. It might be the favorite jerkbait rod in the lineup. I mean, obviously, it's got a world's more power than something like the 110 stick, which, don't get me wrong, 110 stick, fantastic rod, love that rod. But the way this throws a Vision 110 or even a little bit bigger jerkbait is fantastic. The 110 stick is like perfect through a 110. You start going bigger, you start having a little bit of problem. This thing will throw a little bit bigger size jerkbaits. So that's one of the things I found this thing fantastic for. Other interesting thing, in a pinch, I threw a light Texas rig on it, a regular trick worm with 1/8 ounce bullet sinker. Worked better than expected. I was expecting, because of the regular tip, it wouldn't be that sensitive. This thing's crazy sensitive. It worked. You can skip docks with jigs, very light jigs with this thing, oddly enough, the size and everything like that. I mean, probably not my first choice, but like, it did it remarkably well, so I wouldn't count those techniques out. Yeah, so the real eye pair with this, because of how ridiculously light this rod is, and most of the P5 line, all the P5 lineup, but especially these short, low power rods, like, this is so ridiculously light that I throw a Stee CT on it. It only reel that really feels right to me on this, and the line obviously varies based on the technique. I have one wrapped up braid for any of my topwater 30-pound braid. I use Daiwa Samurai for all my braids, so 30-pound Daiwa Samurai, and then I have another one rigged up with 8-pound fluorocarbon for Vision 110s or jerk baits, and then I have another one that I believe I put 12-pound test on as like a kind of do everything smaller bait style. And I'm saying smaller because I'm in Florida, and this is ridiculously finessed for Florida, but everywhere else this is like a pretty normal rod. So yeah, this is again, I'll probably keep it short, but this is one of the most incredible rods in the lineup for versatility, sensitivity, meaning it shouldn't be as sensitive as it is. I'm not saying it's the most sensitive in the lineup, but if you're looking for a do everything type of rod or even technique specific, this is gonna be a fantastic choice. To be quite honest with you, it's one of my I don't know why they're not one of the most popular in the lineup. if I had a choice, if I had one rod to buy from the lineup, it might be this or maybe a couple others, but this is going to cover a lot of techniques. I honestly, if I could pick between, I wanted to get one high-end rod and it was between the 110 stick and this, I would personally buy this. You could do a lot more with it. You could do the same things with it, and it does it just as well, or in some cases better. So yeah, this is all I really want to cover. This is a fantastic pickup if you guys can go get your hands on it. I will continue to probably do a couple other, not talk too much about models. If you guys like this or not, please subscribe. And that's basically it. Thanks, everyone.